So Watkins, Lauren Betts, and Kiki Rice, perhaps the three biggest players in this game, all have 4 fouls here halfway through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's a tough one to see for either sides, especially if you're just here to see the Stars play. Maybe your team's been eliminated, but it's a tough one to see. But either way, these two teams, throughout the year, they've shown the ability to play beyond their stars. That's something we heard from their head coach, from Lindsey Gottlieb in the press conference. It's not just the Juju Watkins show. There's so many other players on their team, and I feel like we're seeing the same thing from UCLA because it's been about a quarter since we've seen Betts out there, and you know what? They only trail by 1.
So with 5:18 to go in the fourth, there'll be a 1-point lead for USC, 55-54, and UCLA will inbound the basketball. 94 feet away from their basket.
As we get closer to this 5-minute mark, you have to wonder which team is going to bow out first and which team needs the momentum more and is going to fight for it more, because right now they've split the series with each other 1-1. It's going to come down to the nitty-gritty. It's going to become to who has that second gear. We'll find out shortly.
So 5:18 to go, 55-54, USC leads UCLA. Juju Watkins, after picking up her 4th foul after that charge, gonna stay on the floor, while Rice and Betts are both on the bench for UCLA, and UCLA has the basketball as Dugalic hands off Jones. 3-pointer is blocked, and the inbound kept in by Hawkes. No, she stepped out of bounds. And USC will get the ball back. And at what point, if you are Corey Close, do you let those two players with 4 fouls come back in the game?
I think you have to wait until at least the 3-minute mark, especially with how close you're playing them with what you got. You definitely want to wait to have your haymakers out there.
Inbound on the far quarter coming from USC. And Davis able to come away with the basketball before handing it to Forbes, who will take it to the near sideline in the offensive end of the floor for USC, moving left to right here in the second half. As Forbes dribbling, trying to battle on Dugalic, the mid-range jumper is up and she's fouled as her shot goes way long. And Mackenzie Forbes will head to the free throw line for the first time today, as Dugalic picks up her 3rd foul and UCLA's 5th. So a USC in the bonus from here on out. Mackenzie Forbes, 8 points in the game for USC.
As right as you said it, Betts comes on back out, playing with it despite 4 fouls.
Makes her first as Lauren Betts checks in with 4:47 to go. And Forbes extends the lead to 3 for USC, now 57-54. The trip to the Pac-12 championship on the line on Sunday against Stanford. Kiki Rice will come back in as well. She has 4 fouls, so 2 players out there for UCLA with 4 fouls. With the ball, Dugalic on the right wing to the top of the key. Osborne wicks it in for Lauren Betts. Betts spinning up with the left hand. Shot is off the left side of the rim, and the rebound grabbed by Juju Watkins. Watkins out there with 4 fouls as well. Sets it from the right wing, now moves to the middle of the court with Kiki Rice guarding her. Now gonna back up Juju Watkins. Calls for the screen. Gets it from Marshall, moving towards the right at the elbow, gives it to Marshall at the free throw line before getting it back. 10 to shoot for USC. It's Rice setting up, right shot mid-range is true. As Juju Watkins now with 29 points in the basketball game. It is 59-54, USC, under 4 minutes to go. Kiki Rice, right wing. Osborne, top of the key, gets a pick from Dugalic. Now Dugalic with the basketball. 3-point try from her is off the mark, long and heading towards the far sideline, and a battle for the rebound is won by USC after the ball bounced all around the zone, and Juju Watkins will carry it up the court and will set up shot on the left wing. Her team now up by 5 points. It's Mackenzie Forbes. In the backcourt, moves it to the left for Watkins. Watkins blows by Osborne to her left. Watkins goes down, ending up with the basketball as Marshall at the right elbow. Kicks back out. Forbes, 3-point try, rattles around, and the rebound grabbed by Dugalic.
Great job defensively by UCLA, putting the pressure on them around the perimeter.
As here goes Rice at the mid-post, works it back out for Jones. Jones standing in front of her bench behind the arc. She approached the free throw line, moved back out for Rice, in for Lauren Betts. Betts battling, spinning, shot is up, and Lauren Betts finishes 59-56. Under 3 minutes to go. As USC and Mackenzie Forbes will work it up court. We approach the 2.5 minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Pac-12 semifinal number 2. Forbes, near baseline, gives it to Juju Watkins. So Watkins sets up from the top, the key. Defender sent to the ground. A three-point shot from Watkins rattles around. Offensive rebound grabbed by Davis. Works it back out for Forbes. Forbes driving the baseline. Pass through the paint is up for Davis, and she couldn't get it to go as it rimmed all the way around. And Kiki Rice will work it back the other way for UCLA. A 1-possession game. They're down by 3, but they don't need it yet. Dugalich in for Lauren Betts, working on the near post. Betts, cross-court pass. Osborne, three-point try is too far off the block. Osborne gets it back top the key. Shot clock resets, so can UCLA's offense. We'll go all the way back to the midcourt logo. Down by 3 with 1:40 to go. Osborne moves it to the left. Dugalich, three-point try is good! Angeli Dugalich hits her second three-pointer of the game, has 10 points now, and we are tied at 59 with 1:35 to go.
Dugalich can do it. Oh my, from deep. I feel just like throughout this tournament, we've seen Dugalich. We knew she was a shooter coming into this one, but I feel like the world hasn't seen it yet. But Dugalich, not only can she do it through the first 3 quarters, but in crunch time as well, as she ties up this close battle for LA with 1:35 left.
Dugalich had 3 three-pointers against Utah yesterday, tied her career high with 17 points in the 67-57 quarterfinal win over Utah. Now into double digits today, and she's made the biggest shot of the day for UCLA. She's tied the game at 59, as both teams can feel it. They want that trip against Stanford, who's won more Pac-12 tournaments than anybody else, and it's been as advertised. 2 top 10 teams in the country battling here in the Pac-12. This is Pac-12 basketball.
Well, the joke has always been around the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament is that it's the Stanford Invitational. You always hear it. Stanford always wins it. But something's jiggling in my bones that tells me that this is the year that somebody gives them a shot. We saw it last year with Washington State, but now you have UCLA and USC. These 2 teams, they're just bringing in that X factor that can rival what Stanford has brought throughout the years.
The battle of the LA schools that each won the game played at home during the regular season. They played in December, in the middle of January. Now again here in March at the Pac-12 tournament, as USC will inbound the basketball, tied at 59, 90 seconds to go as Padilla races down court, guarded by London Jones. She works inside for Juju Watkins, left elbow, guarded by Osborne. Watkins at the free throw line, works it back out for Marshall before Marshall gives it back to Watkins at the left wing. Now at the left elbow, Watkins' shot is off the arc, gets her rebound back, trying to go over Betts, but Blex denies her and blocks the shot as Watkins will work back out. Watkins at the free throw line, trying to go around Betts. She does, but the shot is short and it spins off the rim. Out of bounds it goes. Who touched it last? Officials saying it's going to go to UCLA. So after Watkins grabbed her offensive rebound, then got another try, ball goes out of bounds on USC, and UCLA has the basketball and a chance to take the lead with 1 minute to go in regulation, tied at 59 in the Pac-12 tournament. Osborne, top the key, working from Jones on the left side. Jones for Dugalich on the right wing, just hit the three-pointer to tie it. And an off-ball foul is called as Osborne went down in the paint.
Foul number 13 from USC.
It's going to be called on Rhea Marshall, her second foul. And USC's second foul of the quarter. They're already in the bonus. Still have plenty of fouls to give as Rice will inbound from under the basket. Game tied at 59. Comes out for Dugalich behind the arc, works it inside. Lauren Betts battling, gonna get her shot to go, and the rebound falls into the hands of Padilla. As now Juju Watkins will race down the near side, 35 seconds to go. Watkins trying to cut towards the paint, her shot is up, a contested shot with 3 Bruins in her face, they block it, and here comes London Jones the other way. Jones over Padilla, and she's denied! Kayla Padilla with a thunderous block. Juju Watkins with 20 seconds to go. USC has 2 timeouts if they want to use them, and they do. 18.1 seconds to go, we're tied at 59. And USC will get to draw up a play with the game's final possession. Under 19 seconds to play.
Man, if you're Corey Close, you have to think right when London Jones goes driving down, if you call that timeout, the shot clock's dark, you have 29 seconds to shoot. Maybe if you call that timeout, you have the last shot of the game, as now you're giving USC a chance to win it, tied at 59 apiece.
Potentially a missed opportunity from Corey Close, the 13-year head coach at UCLA. But now USC will have the basketball, 18.1 to go. They get to drop a play, and you imagine it's going to Juju Watkins. He has 29 points, has been your rock this season. The Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, was named the Freshman of the Year by The Athletic. Obviously, probably gonna win National Freshman of the Year. It's gonna be a vertical stack for USC, who will inbound from the near sideline. Forbes will get the ball in. Rice is in the back of the stack. Rice moves left, gets the basketball. 15 seconds to go, game time at 59. So Watkins will walk the ball to the left side of the court, guarded by Osborne, dribbling the ball back and forth. In her right hand, screen comes from Padilla. Watkins at the right wing, down she goes and loses the basketball as Lauren Bett takes it back and takes a timeout. She lost the basketball as she was driving into the paint. And now UCLA gets it back with 1.9 to go as the ball ended up in the hands of Lauren Betts.
A tremendous error right there, and a rare one at that from Juju Watkins. When she was dribbling, she picked the ball up a little too early, about to go airborne. She noticed her error, and as she tried to move, she lost her footing and lost the ball. Just a missed opportunity there by Juju Watkins, and now UCLA has a chance to win it.
Watkins may lead the Pac-12 in scoring, 27.4 points per game. She also leads the conference in turnovers a game, 3.96. And she turns the ball over with under 2 seconds to go here in the semifinal of the Pac-12 tournament. And now UCLA, with 1.9 seconds to go, will have one final play to try to win this one in regulation.
UCLA, you can tell they want to go back to the finals badly. Fell just short against Washington State last year. They thought it was their year. They were going up against the underdogs, and sometimes the underdogs don't win well. Last year they did, and now they're playing the underdogs of themselves. I know it's hard to imagine the 3 seed playing an underdog, but when you got to beat the 2 seed and then potentially, if you win this one, play the number 1 overall seed, that's the Titan gauntlet that the Pac-12 is this year.
UCLA will elect to inbound as they advance the basketball to midcourt on the near sideline as they put 2.1 seconds on the clock. We've heard all of the coaches in the conference say it this week, whether they've won or lost their tournament games. Playing in this conference feels like an NCAA tournament game, night in and night out. And when you're tied at 59 with 2 seconds to go, 2 top 10 teams in the country, if this doesn't feel like an NCAA tournament game, I don't know what does, as Dugalich will inbound with 2.1 to go, guarded by Juju Watkins.
Not a person is on their seat right now. Everybody's standing up.
Dugalich looking for an option. Gives it to Kiki Rice. Rice spinning. Desperation shot is up and off the mark to the right of the rim, and that will do it on regulation. 59-59 the score after 4 quarters of play. And in the final Pac-12 women's basketball semifinal ever, we'll need overtime, as Parker and I will take a moment to catch our breaths. We'll be back with the final period right here on Blaze Radio. Pac-12 After Dark here in semifinal number 2 at the Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament in Las Vegas. And it's overtime coming up between USC and UCLA, tied at 59, the 7th OT game in Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament history, the second of this year's tournament. Colorado and Oregon State went to double overtime yesterday in the first double overtime game in tournament history, as USC and UCLA will need overtime as well. Kiki Rice, Lauren Betts, and Juju Watkins all playing with 4 fouls, as Betts will win the opening tip for UCLA. And 5 more minutes on the clock. The teams will decide who will play Stanford in the tournament final. London Jones working it on the right wing. Dugalich bounce pass forward to Osborne, working in the mid post. Osborne gonna work out back towards the free throw line, gets a screen from Betts, now a bounce pass to Betts. Betts looking for an option, out for Dugalich, a 3-point try from her. Looked pretty for a moment, bounced off the near side of the rim, and going for the basketball were players on both teams, and a foul going to be called.
Fouls on USC, number 24, Caitlin Davis.
On Caitlin Davis of USC.
13.
It'll be Davis's 3rd foul. So UCLA will get to keep the basketball. So the inbound coming from the baseline from Kiki Rice. Rice looking for an option, feeds it to Osborne, threads the needle with Padilla right on her. As inside, Lauren Betts, left-handed layup off the glass and in. So a 61-59 lead for UCLA. As here comes Juju Watkins from the left wing. Gets her screen from Marshall as she works towards the middle of the court. Marshall sets up another screen as Watkins gonna drive down the lane, working over Betts, and Betts interfered with the shot as it came out low, below the rim and off the backboard. As UCLA will take it back the other way. Osborne wants to take it into the paint before working it back out right in front of her bench. Dugalich, left wing 3-point from her, rims out. And a foul on the rebound gonna be called on London Jones. That'll be her 4th, and Lauren Betts looked scared there for just a moment. She wanted to make sure the foul wasn't on her. She's a foul away from being out of the game.
Yeah, she had a little face like, who, me? But was relieved to see that the foul was not on her. But there is a USC player down, as that is Juju Watkins on her end of the court. And Lindsay Gottlieb is beside herself with anger, and that is not a pretty sight. Watkins holding her shin as she cannot get up by herself.
We saw Juju Watkins leave the game in the first quarter, hobbling on one leg, and ran straight into the locker room. Now with all of her weight on her right leg as she's being helped off the court. Looks like she's gonna head back into the locker room, and Juju Watkins, your star, not the player you want to see down with an injury in overtime of the Pac-12 tournament.
Not only that, but an injury that just looks like it's causing so much pain for her.
Padilla to the line, shooting 2.
And you know how bad she wants to be in there.
Nobody wants her to be out more than her. You can just tell that with her expression on her face.
So the foul on London Jones sends Kayla Padilla to the free throw line, where she makes her first shot of the game. Her first shot of the trip, rather, now 4 for 4 from the line in the game. And this second could tie us at 61, and it does. It's Padilla a perfect 5 for 5 from the line in the game, now has 9 points. It's Juju Watkins sitting at the end of the bench, getting some attention from the training staff. UCLA basketball tied at 61. As Kiki Rice works it on the far end of the court, gives it to Osborne at the top of the key. As Osborne takes her dribble, then picks up, gives it back for Rice on the far ring. Inside, Dugalich elbow working down the post, and Dugalich's shot is up high off the glass, but before it goes in, she's called for a travel.
As the UCLA crowd cannot believe it, she's gesturing to her foot for a second, saying, I pivoted, but no dice from the refs.
UCLA turned the basketball over 10 times in the game, 9 for USC. And a big one in overtime as USC gets the basketball back. Game's tied at 61, 3.5 minutes to go in overtime. Padilla will take her dribble, works towards the left wing, now spins back towards the middle of the court. Her floater is short, And Lauren Betts grabs another rebound, her 14th of the game, to go along with her 12 points. Osborne in the backcourt, sets up from the middle before she gets it back from Dugalich. Osborne cutting towards the paint, off the left side of the glass and in. As Osborne now into the 20s with 21 points in the game. 2-point lead, UCLA. So Williams takes her dribble, will give to Forbes on the right wing. Forbes guarded by Osborne as she directs traffic. Takes a few steps back, 12 to shoot for USC. Padilla gets it back for a moment before giving it to Forbes. He'll come from the near side of the court to the far side. Now into the paint, just inside the free throw line. Back out for Padilla behind the arc. 3 seconds to go for USC. Step back three-point try from Padilla is off the end of the backboard, and the rebound is won by USC, but the putback try is no good, and now a foul tried on another rebound attempt, and it looks like Marshall's down there in some pains. Lauren Betts went down as well, as Betts gonna be helped up by her teammates. And Marshall gonna need an extra second. And she's helped up by her teammates now as well. And speaks to the physicality we've seen in this game, Parker. We've seen players come in and out, as Marshall will take a second to catch her breath and compose herself. The foul is called on Caitlin Davis, her 4th. So now 2 players on USC and 3 players on UCLA with 4 fouls. UCLA gets the basketball as the result of the foul.
And Juju Watkins already back out there.
Definitely not at full strength. She's hobbling a little bit, but Juju Watkins will check back into the basketball game. As UCLA has the basketball up 63-61, 2:15 to go in overtime. Kiki Rice takes her position on the near side of the court, now cutting towards the middle just inside the free throw line. Back out Osborne, now for Lauren Betts at the mid-post. Betts back to the rim, now working in. Betts, high hook shot is good.
Lauren Betts.
Now 65-61 UCLA, and Lauren Betts has 14 points. Kenzie Forbes with UCLA on the far wing. Juju Watkins cut towards her. She gets looked off as Forbes take a three-pointer right in front of her bench, just short off the front of the rim, but the offensive rebound secured by Marshall, and she cleans it up for 2. 65-63, 1:40 to go in the overtime.
Very little boxing out was done right there by UCLA. You had 2 players going up instead of boxing out. That led to the offside rebound by USC.
Kiki Rice cutting in through the paint is stopped in her tracks by Padilla. She has to work back out to Dugalich. And now Rice will get it back on the left wing. Screen coming from Lauren Betts. 3-point try from Rice off the front of the rim. Offensive rebound is secured by Jaquez to keep the possession going. 1:10 to go. A 65-63 lead for UCLA. Corey Close taps on her head to call out the play. Kiki Rice makes sure everything right with 10 to shoot. Screen comes from Bet. Here comes Kiki Rice down the lane. Underhanded layup. Spins off the rim and in. A 67-63 lead. And a foul is called in transition
Foul is on number 20 from UCLA.
on Charisma Osborne.
Fourth personal.
It's her 4th foul now, as Juju Watkins was trying to work the ball back up court. After Kiki Rice's layup extended the UCLA lead to 67-63. But now with the Osborne foul, Juju Watkins will head back to the line. She's made 10 free throws in the game. And now the officials with some words for Corey Close. And they're checking at Osborne, who may have some blood on her arm. Trying to see if it's okay or not, or if the trainers have to clean it up, and they indeed do.
As Osborne was bleeding, didn't check out. Typically you have to check out for that type when you address a wound when you're bleeding, and the ref saying, hey, you need to check out for that, but she's just saying, hey, it's just a cut. Want to make sure it doesn't bleed, so she's all good.
So Watkins, who is 10 for 11 from the line. First one is good, 67-64. UCLA with the lead with 55 seconds to go. And this to make it a 2-point lead from the freshman, who has taken more free throws than anyone else in the NCAA this season. Her second is off the back of the rim, but an offensive rebound grabbed by USC. Forbes, 3-point try to tie it is good! We're tied at 67! Mackenzie Forbes! How big is that?
The biggest moment of the game to the player that's been absent since the third period. She's done so much for this USC squad.
Kiki Rice with the basketball back, works it right wing for Osborne. 30 seconds and counting, 10 to shoot as Osborne works into the paint, will now back out. It's Kiki Rice, right wing, back in for Lauren Betts. Betts takes her dribble, working at the block, and she's denied by Davis momentarily, but she wins it back. No, a jump ball is called.
Goes to the Trojans.
Oh, Lauren Betts thought she had the ball back after she was denied going up. A jump ball is called, and it is USC's basketball tied at 67 with 20 seconds to go, and the Trojans will take a timeout with the shot clock turned off.
The theatrics will not stop. Just when you think Betts got the putback, UCLA on top, the ref with the delayed whistle, and all of a sudden the momentum and the joy shifts from happiness for UCLA to now happiness for USC as they have a chance to maybe get a buzzer beater, or if not, double OT doesn't sound too bad for Pac-12 After Dark.
So Davis is officially going to be charged with a block, or credited with a block, as she gets the ball back for USC, who'll get to draw up another play. We saw them do this in the closing moments of regulation as Juju Watkins cut down the lane towards the basket, lost the basketball. UCLA got a chance to draw up a play with 2 seconds to go, and a three-point heave wasn't enough. USC and head coach Lindsey Gottlieb get to drop another play with 20.3 to go in overtime in the second semifinal of the Pac-12 tournament.
These two teams, they've left it all out there, that's for certain. As we've said, as we've beat it in, these are two tournament teams. We have a preview to March, everybody. I know we're already in March, but as for March Madness, these two teams, everybody has them at least going deep into the rounds.
Juju Watkins has been battling some lower body pains in this game. We saw her come out in the first quarter. We saw her come out earlier in overtime. Has battled through all of it, leads everybody in the game with 30 points. And USC will inbound on the far sideline. Forbes will be responsible as Cameron Brown checks into the game for UCLA, guarding the inbound. Forbes inbound to Juju Watkins as she watches the clock with 15 seconds to go on the left wing, guarded by Osborne. Watkins starts to move forward. Screen comes from Padilla. Watkins gonna take a shot with her foot on the three-point line. Shot is short, and Lauren Betts gonna grab the rebound. Call a timeout with 1.8 seconds to go in overtime. And doesn't seem Watkins was too confident in that shot, Parker.
It does not. She was off kilter, was on the run. Surprised she didn't take another second. There wasn't really anybody near her. I don't know if she misread the clock and put it up too early. And then all of a sudden, it feels like I'm in the twilight zone. History's repeating itself. This is just how regulation ended.
So now 1.8 seconds to go for UCLA. It was 2.1 to go in regulation. And that just wasn't a confident shot from Juju Watkins. You couldn't tell if she was trying to step back or what. If she wanted a 2 or a 3, she didn't need a three-point shot, but her foot was on the line. It was off the front of the rim. Lauren Betts secured the rebound. Now with 16 of those in the game. We could be 1.8 seconds away from heading to double overtime.
Do you think I have time to get some Prilosec? Because this heartburn, it's killing me. With this one, whew, bringing in the extra hours.
All the many years of Pac-12 women's basketball has led to this, truly. In the conference's final tournament, 2 top 10 teams in the country tied at 67 with 1.8 to go. How great has this been?
Oh man, unparalleled atmosphere, unparalleled teams, and soon to be an unparalleled ending, I'm sure.
So this time as the basketball advances for UCLA, the inbound will come from the far sideline rather from the near sideline. Dugalich going to be responsible from the inbound again.
Nobody in their seat in the arena for the second time tonight. Everyone standing, awaiting what could be a program-defining moment.
So they add 1 more tenth of a second to the clock, 1.9 the official time. Dugalich will inbound from the far sideline with the teams tied at 67 in overtime. Dugalich bounce pass, Osborne runs the baseline, never got a shot off. Osborne kicked it out to Jones, and with 1.9 seconds to go, you pretty much got a pass and pop. They don't. So how about another overtime, Parker? For the first time in Pac-12 history, we saw in the quarterfinals, Colorado and Oregon State go to double overtime. Now for the second time in conference history, we're gonna see another double overtime game.
I'm ready. I am clearing my schedule for the rest of the day.
We're going to step aside for one more break. It's Pac-12 After Dark tied at 67 on Blaze Radio.